Welcome to week 18 of the Gridiron Address. This will be the last episode for the regular season. We're going to be hitting you with a little Black Monday preview, what coaches are going to get fired. And we're also going to look ahead at the playoff picture because we've talked Panthers, Giants, and Steelers almost too much this season. So we have said almost all this to be said. We will be hitting on the Steelers because unlike my Panthers and Jason's Giants, they actually made the playoffs. Are they going to win? Probably not. It is not looking good for them. They gotta go to Baltimore, but we're gonna touch on some what I feel like is pretty big news. Mike Evans hits 1,000 yards again. They're passing the ball super late. I've seen some people on Twitter, TikTok complaining about them passing the ball that late. Chris, to you first. What are your thoughts about Baker passing the ball to Mike Evans that late into the fourth quarter so he can hit that 1,000-yard mark again?
I would do it. I mean, the thing is he is up there with Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, like all these amazing receivers of the past. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. And if you want him to have that record, go ahead and do that. How many other times do you think we're going to have a receiver in our generation do that? Maybe Justin Jefferson, but if he can stay healthy outside of that, I think that Mike Evans 100% deserved to get that ball past him because in the end, Bucks win anyway. Why not? You might as well let him get that record and have another accolade to go to that Hall of Fame resume that Mike Evans already has. I'm also a big Mike Evans fan. Even back when he was in college, I liked him. So I'm happy to see how successful of a career he's had.
And Jason, same question to you. How do you feel about Tampa getting Mike Evans the ball so he can keep going for that record?
That was an awesome moment. I was watching it live on Red Zone, and to see him catch that ball and see the pure joy out of him for catching that ball, knowing what it meant, and to see his teammates just literally just jump all over him. It was an amazing moment. I think he also got a $3 million bonus from that too. So you know what? If I needed 5 yards and Baker was my boy, like, hey, dude, and these are things, guys, they talk about this in the during the week, hey, I'm this yards away, especially when you get the end of the year here, bonuses. These guys know about it. They discuss it in the locker room all the time. So it was a fantastic moment. Someone like Mike Evans, who, by the way, helped me win my Dynasty League. So thank you, Mike Evans. A lot of love. I'm glad you got it. But, you see a guy like that who is a surefire Hall of Famer, give him the 5 yards. It doesn't matter if it's the end of the game. They already won the game. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's a phenomenal achievement. And anybody that's bitching about it, find something else to complain about because he's an absolute stud. He deserves it. So God bless.
Mm-hmm. Wayne in the comments saying Mike Evans not only first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's a selfless class act. Bucks are lucky to have him. I could not agree more. I love that he was able to still hit 1,000 yards, even though he missed, 3-4 games?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome to see. I love that they got him the ball so he can hit that and get him paid too, like $3 million. Like, yeah, he's already got millions, but why would you not do that when it's not like negatively impacting the game? So, I mean, props to him. But before we move on to the Black Monday preview, Jason, let's just get your quick thoughts on how this season went for the Giants. I know it's nothing but disappointment, but I just want to hear it from you now that the season's all wrapped up.
To sum it all up, this is my tissue box of tears for the New York Giants. And unfortunately, I used that a lot this year. Roller coaster of emotions with Danny Dimes and that fiasco. I tell you what, some shining spots, man. Malik Neighbors, woo! Breaking the catch record for the New York Giants, 108 receptions. Phenomenal job there as a rookie. He is going to be a stud for years to come. Tracy Jr., great running back. I think he's going to be a stud too. I think if the New York Giants can get a few pieces on offense, i.e. a quarterback, and then fix up that O-line, shore up that defense a little bit more, we have some pieces. So I saw some glimmer of hope. Not much, but it was definitely an interesting season. I think we are now the third pick in the draft officially. So not hateful. I'll take it. I still think we get a top 3 pick, which is phenomenal. Let's just see what we do with it. So I give our season a D plus. The only plus is because we had some great rookies.
For sure. And yes, they got the 3rd pick, but they got 2 teams above them that need a quarterback. So it's looking a
How
little
about
dicey.
Cleveland? I don't know. Depends what Cleveland does.
I mean, they do. Will they take a quarterback? I don't know. It depends on if
They said they're
they.
sticking with Watson. I've read multiple reports saying they're planning on sticking with Watson, which
I think they just rescheduled his contract too to try to make it a little more team friendly. The only disappointing part is it looks like Hunter's going to Cleveland. Just what side of the ball is he going to play on?
Yeah, I don't want to see Travis Hunter in Cleveland. That would just be a shame. Wayne saying Giants found their wide receiver 1 should be a top receiver in fantasy, top 5. Go check out Sideline Savants, hosted by Wayne, who's in the comments, and Jason. That's a really good fantasy football show. Like Wayne said, or excuse me, Jason said earlier, haven't been able to get Wayne on. That's a bummer. But he's watching it at work on the fridge, so appreciate the love, Wayne. But yeah, Jason won his Dynasty League, so it's too late now. But for next season, go watch what they got to say because they know what they're talking about. But for my just to hit on my Panthers, this was a rough season. First 2 weeks, I thought we were looking down the barrel of potentially one of the worst seasons in NFL history. And it wasn't a great season by any stretch, still picking in the top 10, only 5 wins on the year. But to go from looking that abysmal those first couple weeks, Bryce Young getting benched, looking like they might move on from him, to him playing as good as he has now that he's back as the starter, it's just beautiful, honestly. It gives me hope for next season. And I'm just excited to see year 3 for Bryce Young, Canales' 2nd season as a head coach. I'm excited, honestly. I'm cautiously optimistic, I should say. Every year I've had hope for the Panthers since 2016. It has never panned out. Andrew saying Bryce Young on top. I could not agree more. Michael Davis, great way for the Panthers to end the year offensively. He's also excited to watch Bryce Young in year 3. Can't agree more. And mouthing off with Mike, Giants ownership hasn't slipped all year since letting Saquon go. I mean, that's just not smart, to put it in a PG way. But yeah, Andrew, let's go Commanders. We're going to be talking about the Commanders later on the show. Moving on, Black Monday, Gerard Mayo, first head coach to go as the regular season starts to wrap up. Not even 2 hours after the Patriots game ended. I think this was just terrible. They did that man so dirty. You give the guy in his first year as a head coach, arguably the worst roster in the entire league, and then you fire him because he doesn't win games, and then he wins a game, but it blows them getting the first overall draft pick. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Jason, what do you think about how the Patriots handled this situation?
I think they handled it in pretty much an NFL way. This is what the NFL owners do. They're in charge of their teams. They're going to do what they want to do. These coaches, they coach for their jobs day one. But I think we kind of knew all throughout the year that Mayo was just a one-year guy. It's hard to follow the GOAT. It's hard to follow Bill Belichick. I mean, we already knew that this was going to be tough. It was going to be a tough year, rebuilding year. And I couldn't see him getting past this first year. I think Kraft did it kind of dirty. I think they could at least waited. I mean, at least wait till the next morning, the rest of the week, let the week play out and say, hey, look, we talked about it. We just didn't see eye to eye on the future. You could have, BS'd it a little bit. But to turn around and just fire the guy, you just made him a 1-year rental coach. And Robert Kraft's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to go out and find another coach that he wants to coach his team, and they'll move on and churn through another guy because they're not going to find another Bill Belichick out there. So it's just the NFL does what they want. These owners do what they want. You either are punished for winning games or you're punished for losing games. And this is a prime example because I think if Mayo loses this game and they get that first pick, he might have lasted a little bit longer. But I think because he won, more than likely he won because he wanted to let the ownership know that, hey, I'm going to go out here and win a game. Because I guarantee behind closed doors, ownership did not want him to win that game. So I think that he went and won that game to show everybody like, hey, I don't care what the owners think. I want to win a football game because I'm an NFL coach. And unfortunately, he got fired for
it. Yeah. Rock Renegade Kraft said in the hiring press conference there'd be growing pains, and he just blatantly lied. It's kind of disgusting. Sean Lucas, bad move on New England, but you felt it coming. He had a lackluster roster to work with. I mean, yeah, that's spot on. He was not set up for success, and he was not given time to grow as a head coach, which, I mean, you just hate to see. And also, shout out Sean's show also on Boom Broadcasting. It Stinks TV review show. Great stuff. If you watch a lot of TV, go check that out. Super good content. But Rock Renegade, again, he needs the playoff times ASAP. Go Ravens. Chris, that's a matchup we're going to talk about for your Steelers here in a bit, but there's still a good handful of head coaches that are on the hot seat. You got Doug Peterson, Brian Dable. I feel like we've been waiting on those guys to get fired. And before the Cowboys got hot, I feel like Mike McCarthy was a name that was getting thrown around a little bit, but they've done a pretty good job to close out the season. They actually played some pretty good football the last 5-6 weeks, which might have saved his job in all honesty. You also got Shane Steichen. The Colts are kind of a mess right now. They're beefing with their most popular former player, arguably, in Pat McAfee, which does not seem like a smart move in my book. You would want to buddy up with one of your former players who has a massively popular show. But out of all the coaches that are still on the hot seat, Chris, who do you think's going to go? Do you think they're all going to go, or maybe some guys stick around a little bit longer?
It's hard to tell. I think Antonio Pierce is definitely gone, simply with the tumultuous locker room that they've had. I mean, I was big on him last year. I kind of wanted them to bring him back, and I was pretty happy when they did. I thought, his personality really fit the Raiders. Doug Peterson's definitely gone, even with the injuries. There were guys that were healthy, and they just did not look fantastic. I mean, you have guys like Travis Etienne had a big down year. All the receivers had a down year. And yes, they did lose Christian Kirk. Yes, they did lose T-Law. And I agree with that. Yep, when you have no talent. But the Jags do have some talent. We can all agree on that. They're not necessarily an incredibly elite team, but they do have some talent. Steichen, 50-50. I think he should be gone based on the collapse they had. And finally, Mike McCarthy, I still think they should get rid of him, but they're not going to. Knowing Jerry Jones, they're going to hang on to him. Right now, I'm actually in Dallas, and I'm not feeling any heat here. It's 39 degrees today, and I'm feeling no heat on that seat for Mike McCarthy, so I think he stays.
Now, this is a name I just want to throw out there. I don't think he's really on the hot seat, but if they have a collapse in the postseason, I could see Nick Sirianni maybe getting the axe, because we've seen him have some sideline antics that you don't really expect out of an NFL head coach. It's a little ridiculous. Jason, Philadelphia Eagles, your Giants divisional rivals, do you think that if the Eagles fall apart, lose first round, second round of the playoffs, that Sirianni might get the axe?
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of it really hung on Saquon Barkley. I think what happened a few weeks ago when they showed that little video of him on the sidelines talking about, hey, you only have 13 yards. Let me put you in there. He said, no, give it to the young guys. So when you see something like that with your coach talking with one of your stars on the sideline, I think that bodes well for him. So I think he's fine. Philadelphia is Philadelphia. They're always looking for something to bitch about in Philadelphia. Doesn't matter if they're doing good or bad. It's just Philly fans are obnoxious. They're not quite as obnoxious as Cowboy fans, but they're kind of up there. One of the names I would look out for is Zach Taylor. I mean, I know the Cincinnati Bengals really did a push at the end there. I know their defensive coordinator is gone, but Zach Taylor really just you talk about talent. That Cincinnati team has more talent on the offensive side of the ball than I think just about any team in the NFL right now. And for them to miss the playoffs was a travesty. So don't be surprised to see him on the chopping block. But with the comment about not getting any talent, look, if you make the NFL, you have some athletic talent. Coaching molds that talent, and you put the right pieces in the right spot. You put the right guys in the right job. You can get by and win games with just basic NFL talent, because basic NFL talent is superhuman compared to guys that are sitting here that have never played the football game. So I don't see any coach out there that just was a void. You look at the 49ers, who went through just some horrific injuries, losing, CMC, just so many injuries over and over again, yet they were still alive. They were still competitive. And you don't hear Shanahan's name on the chopping block. Look at the Detroit Lions. I think they had 19 guys on their injured reserve, yet look at what they've been doing. So to me, talent, injuries, that's just a way to mask your inability to coach the guys you have. So the guys that lose their jobs, unfortunately, it's the NFL. You don't win, you're probably not going to keep your job. So don't be surprised to see 3, 5, maybe even 6 guys tomorrow. And I hate saying that because nobody likes to lose their job. Nobody wants to lose their paycheck. But the one thing that I've seen in the NFL is they tend to regurgitate their coaches. So a lot of those guys that lose their jobs will have a coordinator position or some kind of position, weeks from now. And so they'll find somewhere to land. But the NFL is rough, man. You have a short season. You essentially have 18 games to prove yourself. And if you don't win, they're going to find somebody else to be put right in your seat.
Yeah, and like you said, except in the case of Gerard Mayo, you win a game and you get fired, even though you actually won. But Michael Davis saying, prior to this year, McCarthy had 3 straight 12-win seasons. He wants McCarthy to get another shot. I was very heavy on the fire McCarthy train when Dallas was playing like garbage, but the fact that they closed the year in a respectable fashion makes it a little more debatable for me. But I don't know. To his point, like, 3 straight 12 wins, that's not easy to do. So he deserves a lot of credit for being able to do that. But they also fell short of expectations in each 3 of those seasons. And this season was just flat out bad. They closed good, but this was not what you expected from the Dallas Cowboys heading into this year. But I mean, moving on, we're going to look at the AFC playoff picture. As we all know, the Chiefs got the 1 seed, they got the bye, but their backups got absolutely demolished by the Broncos, which ruined the Bengals playoff chances. I'm incredibly sad about that. I live like 10 minutes from where Joe Burrow grew up. Everyone here is Bengals fans. They all love Joe Burrow. There's a diner that's just got his pictures and like high school jerseys hanging up in the restaurant. So
Awesome.
You hate to see that, but first matchup, we got the 2C Buffalo Bills at home against the 7C Denver Broncos. This could be interesting. The Broncos have the most sacks in the NFL. They have an incredibly strong defense and a rookie quarterback who has been playing some really good football this latter half of the season after having a bit of a rough start. Chris, I'll throw this to you first. How do you see that matchup playing out? Do you think that Buffalo's going to get an easy win at home in the winter, or do you think the Broncos can maybe pull off what I think would be the biggest possible upset in the first round?
Well, I think it could be close, or it could be like what happened when Pittsburgh went in there. And I actually do kind of agree with Michael on that too, and I can elaborate on that at some other point. But the Broncos could definitely go in there and play a stinker. Do I think they're going to win or make a stinker? I guess. Are they going to win? No. But that defense could pick off Josh Allen once or twice. they could pull off a few sacks, a strip sack. They could do it in the cold weather because, I mean, Denver gets pretty darn cold during the winter too. So I still am going to give it to Buffalo. I think the offense remains electric. I think it remains that elite Bills offense has really caught its stride here, especially late in the year. But yeah, with Michael's point, don't lay an egg week 1 against New England if you want to be in the playoffs. And this is coming from a Steelers fan. We just lost 4 in a row, which we'll be talking about that later. So, but I'm giving it to Buffalo.
Jason, same question to you. You think Buffalo gets it done at home, or does Denver come away with a pretty big upset?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with weather. So depending on what happens in the weather, coming up against the game, I think that's going to have a little bit of an impact. But you talk about Denver, a high altitude team. So I don't think that's really going to affect them too much. Look, Bo Nix should be Rookie of the Year. In any other year in the NFL, Bo Nix would be hands down Rookie of the Year. He has had a phenomenal season as a rookie quarterback. He is essentially a baby version of Josh Allen. I mean, if you look at him playing style, his big kid, throw the ball. He's got a great arm. He can run the football. He is essentially a younger version of Josh Allen when he first came out. So this is actually an exciting matchup. And if I were the Buffalo Bills, I would be very worried because that Broncos defense is legit. And that's all it's going to take is Josh Allen make a few mistakes, get hit in the mouth a couple of times from that defense, because defense wins championships. We're in a whole new ball game here. This is different. The playoffs are a whole different animal where the defensive side of the ball can win the game for you. And I trust the Broncos defense better than I do the Bills. And the Bills need to win and need to get to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, his Super Bowl window is closing, and he knows that. And McDermott knows that. And I think if they don't win this game and Denver goes in there and beats them, I would not be surprised to see Buffalo blow it up and to see Sean McDermott lose his job, because you're hired to not only win games, but you also have to get over the hump and win the big games. So this is going to be a huge, huge test for Buffalo, because Denver is not a slouch team. Yes, they got a rookie quarterback, but he ain't playing like no damn rookie. I'll tell you that right now. And they got weapons with Sutton and some of those other guys on that squad. And that defense, Buffalo better be scared and better be ready. So,
for sure.
I think I got Denver in this game. Buffalo, I think, is in trouble right now. They've got a good squad, but Denver's defense is better.
Andrew's saying no chance the Broncos win. I think the Bills get it done at home, but they do need to be careful. Like Jason said, that Broncos defense is dangerous. It is a really good unit. Josh Allen's got to be on his A game, cannot turn the ball over too much. And Chris, it's time to talk about your Steelers. They dropped 4 in a row. Chargers win, which means that the Steelers don't get an easy wild card matchup. They got to go into Baltimore and play the Ravens. I think Baltimore gets it done. The Steelers have zero momentum going into the playoffs. This was like a nightmare scenario for Pittsburgh. They started good, and then they had a late season collapse. Horrendous timing. Chris, how are you feeling going into this wild card matchup with the Ravens?
Terrible. It's over. In my opinion, the season was over after that 2-minute drive. That was at the end of the Cincinnati game. That was the worst 2-minute drive I've ever seen. Do I know what's up with George Pickens? Absolutely not. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's just was off thing, if he was cold, but he just turned into Kadarius Toney in this past Week 18 game. I think if the defense continues to play as it is, which it's gotten worse, obviously, but it's hard to stay as elite as they were at the beginning of the year. We could put up a fight. We could maybe make Lamar Jackson actually make a mistake. That would be nice. But unless the offense can basically do the opposite of what it's done the past 4 weeks, I think it's over. I will say, I know I'm being devil's advocate here. We did play 4 incredible teams. We played the number 2 seed in the NFC. We played the number 1 seed in the AFC. And then we just played a team that arguably would have made it in any other circumstance as well, plus a fantastic Baltimore team. Did we perform terrible on those 4 losses? Absolutely. Yes, we did. Did we lose to good teams? Yes, we did. But we're about to go play a really good team. But I'm giving it to Baltimore, unfortunately, but maybe they'll surprise me. Who knows?
Jason, you think the Steelers can get it done, snap their 4-game losing streak, or is Baltimore picking up a solid win at home against a divisional rival?
Well, I look at it this way. Unfortunately, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens have not had a very good playoff history. They have been known to lay some eggs. Lamar Jackson has been known to be flimsy with the football. Now, they do have Derrick Henry, so if the Ravens were smart, run the football, but not with Lamar Jackson. Now, why he was playing in the game the other day, I have no idea. I was waiting for him to get hurt or something stupid to happen. So kudos to the Ravens for at least him getting out of that last game without an injury on Saturday. I give the Steelers a fighting chance because there is nothing more dangerous in the NFL than a team with nothing to lose. And Mike Tomlin, who is still a hell of a coach of the year, he's going to coach those guys up. And he's going to let them know, look, you're not supposed to win this game. He's going to get those guys believing in themselves that, again, there is nothing more dangerous than a team with nothing to lose. And that Steelers team literally has nothing to lose. If they can corral Pickens and get him something, I don't know what they need to do with him. But if they can just get him to play 4 good quarters of football and stay focused and play, they have a shot. And I think with the Steelers defense and the Ravens just ability to kind of blow games sometimes, I think the Steelers have a fighting chance. Do I think they're going to win? I think the Ravens pretty much will win this game, but I think the Steelers got a shot. And I think anytime you have Mike Tomlin on the sidelines and that Steelers defense, I think you got a chance. So again, this is one of those, Baltimore, be afraid, be very, very afraid, because if you go out there and think, oh, I'm going to beat the Steelers team that just did absolutely nothing, you're not going to get that same team. So, and you talk about pressure. Lamar Jackson's got a lot of pressure on him because he needs to get over the hump. He needs to get to the Super Bowl. His window is closing. So he's on a Josh Allen situation. So you better be careful because the Steelers can come in and hit you in the mouth. You may not get up. So I think the Ravens win it, but watch out for the Steelers. This is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, for sure. Ravens fan in the comments, Lamar's never going to be the reason they win the Super Bowl. Derrick Henry's a different beast. To your point about their playoff struggles previously, they have not had a Derrick Henry kind of running back to lean on.
No.
So I think we're going to see a different Baltimore than we've seen in the playoffs before. The Steelers do have a puncher's chance to get it done. Their defense is good, but George Pickens needs to get it together. They need to just be more efficient as an offense because that has been a serious issue with these last 4 losses, and their defense has also fallen apart in some games as well. That has not looked like the unit that it did look like earlier in the season. Next matchup for the AFC, we got the Texans hosting the Chargers. This feels like an easy win for the Chargers. They're playing good football. The Texans have just not been what I expected them to be this season. Stroud is having a rough year 2 and really night and day from last season. I feel like it's rough to see, as everyone knows. I'm sure Michael's going to pop up in the comments. Oh, Aaron's picking against CJ Stroud. Yeah, I'm a really big CJ Stroud fan. I think he can bounce back in year 3, but I'm feeling a first round exit from the Texans this year. Jason, what are you expecting out of this matchup?
Another good matchup. Chargers #1 scoring defense in the NFL right now. So it is hard. Again, I just said defense wins championships, and it is going to be hard to go against them. The Houston Texans have looked horrible on offense and defense the last few games. Yes, this past game they had shown up a bit offensively, but they were playing a powder puff team. So I think that kind of helped them a little bit because at least showed them what they could be if they can throw the ball, if they can run the football, because they've gotten away from Joe Mixon. But if you get back to Joe Mixon, Pierce had a phenomenal run. I think it was 90 or 89 yards or something like that today. So if they can get the running game going, keep the ball out of Herbert's hands. Look, I love me some Ladd McConkey. Ladd the Impaler, I think he's going to be a stud wide receiver for the next 8 to 10 years. He's phenomenal. Justin Herbert, I'm not sold on him yet. Still young, still hasn't won the big game. So There's going to be a lot of questions. Houston at least has been there. They didn't look as good, but you know what? It's a new year. This is the playoffs. Nothing counts. Everything that just happened this past year does not count. This is day one. We're starting new. So I have a feeling Houston's going to come in this with a whole different perspective. And I think Houston's going to outscore the Chargers. I think they have a little more offensive firepower than the Chargers do. It's going to be a little bit of a defensive battle, but just with experience, give me Houston. I think they're going to upset the Chargers, even though they have a better defense.
Okay, Jason's going Chargers. Chris, I don't know if anyone knows this, former Texans fan in Chris DeLuca. Chris, what are you expecting out of your former favorite football team?
I mean, I think the Chargers look a lot better objectively. Like you said, Lad McConkey has been insane. J.K. Dobbins is back and healthy, and Justin Herbert knows how to take care of the football. That's the most important thing in the NFL, if we're being honest. The Texans have looked really lethargic. They benched a lot of starters because they didn't really have much to play for, and they actually outplayed their normal status quo recently. Do I think that this is going to be a blowout? Absolutely not. I mean, the Texans have a lot to prove, and going back to the point with the Steelers, everybody is already writing this off. Whoever was going to go into Houston was automatically going to be written as the winner. And I don't think that's going to be an automatic thing. I think that DeMarco Ryans is going to coach that team like he should, like Tomlin does, be like, everybody wants you to lose. Everybody thinks you're going to lose. This is an automatic loss for you. Let's change that. That receiving core, despite the fact how banged up it is, it's still pretty darn good. They still have a really good running back in Joe Mixon, and maybe CJ Stroud could have a defining game. I'm 50-50 here, if I'm being honest with you guys, and I'm going to go do a crazy thing here. I'm actually going to pick against the panel. I'm going to pick Houston. I think Houston can actually upset and change the perception that they had. They've looked terrible in the regular season, so I'm going to go ahead and be the one that just does it just because why not? I'm already ahead in the picks that Aaron and I have anyway, so I might as well go give myself a potential loss. Give me Houston.
Yeah, haven't done the picks in a few weeks, but Chris was way ahead of me. I was never going to catch up. It sucks to see the 2 years that we really did this seriously. I have not won, and sucks to see. Hopefully next year I'll be able to bounce back and pick up a win. But
you beat me in fantasy. It doesn't matter.
I did beat you in fantasy. Two wins in a row in that league. We've been doing that for 6 years now. I've won 4 out of 6, by the way. Jason, if you want to have me on Sideline Savants next season, hit me up.
I made it in as a 7-7, so maybe I deserve a shout out too. So I made it in as a 7-7 with the most points against.
That was a super competitive league. We had every team but the bottom seed who didn't set his lineup at all, which you hate to see, but everybody had a chance to make it in at that 4 seed, which was super interesting. But to wrap up our AFC playoff preview, Chris, you first. Who's coming out of the AFC? Is it going to be Kansas City? Is it going to be Buffalo? Or do we see like a dark horse candidate make it out?
Kansas City again. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm not going to elaborate. They always find a way. They always have found a way. Yes, they look terrible in the game that they benched all their starters, but they've beaten good teams in confidence this year. They've handled Denver. They've handled Chargers. They've handled good teams in their own division. Buffalo is the only team, that will probably, I think, put up a fight. It's always funny. I'm always thinking back to the Black Hole Sun memes, I love those, and I can't wait for those to return. But unfortunately, I think the Black Hole Sun will, in fact, come, and I think Kansas City is going back to the Super Bowl, unfortunately.
Chris, I got to agree with you. I can't pick against this Chiefs team. They got beat bad this week. They benched all their starters. Who cares? This doesn't even really count as a loss for them because they weren't actually trying to win. Carson Wentz looked terrible. Hate to see that. Wish he could have bounced back. But Jason, who's coming out of the AFC? Is it going to be a clean sweep? Panels all picking the Chiefs or Buffalo maybe?
We haven't had a three-peat champion in the NFL in how long? 30-something, almost 40 years. I think it was the Cowboys was the last one to do it there in the early 90s. If the Buffalo Bills can beat and get past the Denver Broncos, I think the Buffalo Bills represent the AFC in the Super Bowl this year. I think this is Josh Allen's year. All the MVP hype. He knows he has to get it done. He knows this is his year. He's got to get over the Mahomes hump. This is like the Brady Manning kind of thing. You know, it always took, Peyton Manning how many years to get over the Brady hump. It's finally Josh Allen's turn to do it. Nothing circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So I think the Bills finally can get it done. Kansas City just has few too many holes in their offense. They're still not that consistent. Mahomes has had a super off year this year, trying to do a little too much. That Kansas City defense is really nice, but Buffalo, give me the Buffalo Bills. I think they finally get it done. I think Josh Allen gets over the hump and finally makes it to the Super Bowl, because nobody deserves a Super Bowl victory like those guys in Western New York. They've had so much heartbreak out there, and I think Buffalo really needs it, and Josh Allen really needs this. So give me the Buffalo Bills surprising everybody and making it to the Super Bowl in the AFC.
Jason, I love the pick. I want Buffalo to come out of the AFC, but I just cannot confidently pick against the Chiefs. Yes, Mahomes is having an off year. They are still winning games, and that's just dangerous, because Mahomes he will step up. I don't doubt for a second that Mahomes is going to drop a stinker in the playoffs. He's going to be on his A game at the right time. I think the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, but moving on to the NFC, the 1 seed is still undecided. That is coming down to tonight's matchup between the Lions and Vikings. This is just phenomenal TV. Winner of this game gets a bye, and the loser has to travel to LA and play the Rams, which, I mean, I feel bad for the Rams. They're going up against the best wild card team, regardless of who they're facing of all time. You don't see a 14-win team in the wild card. It's insane. That division is just on fire. Packers also made it in at the 7th seed. But first matchup we're going to be talking about, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers. Packers had a stinker this week. Lost to the Bears on a last-second field goal. Bears snapped their, 10-11 game losing streak, so good for them to end the season on a high note. But, Jason, who's coming out of this matchup between the Eagles and the Packers?
That's going to be a tough one. Again, it's one of those things, weather permitting, because this time of year, you get these weather games, and if you look at the running back situation for the Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley, 2,000-plus yards. You also have Gainwell back there, too, who is no slouch either. The tush push, which is probably the most annoying play in the NFL, especially when it comes to a fantasy football owner of Saquon Barkley. How many more touchdowns would he have had? But give me the Philadelphia Eagles. They have more firepower. I think they have the formula to win, run the ball, grind the game out. If their top receivers can stay healthy with A.J. Brown and Smith, I think they've got it. I love me some Love. I think the Green Bay Packers have a great team, but they just have been really inconsistent. Their wide receivers have been very inconsistent. Christian just got hurt too, so I don't know if he's I haven't even looked. I don't know if he's out. I know he got carted away, so I don't even know if he's out for an extended period of time. But give me the Eagles. I think they've just got too much against the Green Bay Packers.
Jason, I got to agree with you. I cannot bank on the Packers receivers to be able to step up. We don't know if Watson's going to be playing. Jordan Love also got hurt in this game as well, and that's not good. You need your quarterback to be at 100%. It is not looking good for Green Bay. I would love to see them pull off the upset, but I got to go the Eagles. They got more firepower, and they have Saquon Barkley, who was really close to setting the single-season rushing record, but they benched him this week, which was the right move. Chris, who's coming out of this matchup?
It's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be closer than we all think. I mean, obviously, Green Bay had a stinker against Chicago. Chicago finally won a game. And fun fact, the last The loss that started this streak was the famous Tyreek Stevenson, mocking the players and the fans and then running back, which, again, I was with my roommate Jorge, and he's an enormous Commanders fan, and that man almost jumped through the roof through that. And I think it's kind of funny that up until now, the Bears did not win a game, but they played really well today. Caleb Williams played how I thought he would. Jordan Love, hand injury, did not look great. Christian Watson, non-contact injury. Again, something you don't want to see. That Packers receiving corps is really, really banged up. And yes, Josh Jacobs is a fantastic running back. The Eagles defense, the Eagles rush defense especially, has really improved late here in the season. The Eagles know how to spread the field. You can't just guard one of them. You can't just guard two of them. There's always someone that they can go to, whether it's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, or even Saquon Barkley, who's fantastic through the passing game. As long as Jalen Hurts is back, healthy, and ready to play, I do think that the Packers go into Lincoln Financial Field and put up a fight, but I think Philadelphia will win the game overall.
And, yeah, clean sweep from the panel. Northeast is getting hit with some bad weather, so Buffalo, Philly, and Baltimore are going to be affected if they're playing on Saturday. That is definitely something to keep an eye out for. Moving on, Andrew, we're finally talking about your Commanders versus the Buccaneers. We got Bucs end up with a 3 seed, and the Commanders got to go down to Tampa and play them. I think the Commanders get it done. Jaden Daniels, Offensive Rookie of the Year. They're playing some good football. I think they pull off the upset, but Chris, who do you think's coming out of this game?
This is going to be one I'm going to be watching. This is actually probably the playoff game that so far I'm the most excited to watch, not just because of my roommate's bias, even though I won't be around during the game. But with that being said, Washington has looked really, really good this year. That defense has been a little bit suspect. That offensive line has been a little bit suspect. But Scary Terry, Jaden Daniels, and Austin Eckler's healthy again, by the way. He appeared in this game, and that plays a major factor. I think it's going to be close because that Commander secondary is very, very suspect, and they're going against incredibly good wide receiver Mike Evans. This one is going to be a shootout, guys. I think this is going to be a high-scoring matchup, high-scoring fiasco. But I do think that Jaden Daniels and those Washington Commanders do get that playoff win. They finally shake off that Dan Snyder nastiness and give me Washington in a 30-plus point between both of them shootout, like 30-plus scored by each of them shootout. Give me Washington close.
Jason, do you think that your divisional rivals, Philadelphia Eagles, get the win in the wild card round, or does Jaden Daniels continue a phenomenal rookie campaign and get Washington to the second round?
Listen, the Commanders have had a phenomenal season. I think they're 2-3 years ahead of schedule from where they wanted to be. Daniels, lightning in a bottle, again, just rookie of the year, give it to him. Phenomenal year for him. But if Baker Mayfield does not get some MVP votes, it's a travesty. He has had a phenomenal season. He lost 2 of his top wide receivers midway through the season, yet still has the Buccaneers playing into the playoffs. So give me the Buccaneers winning this game. I think Baker Mayfield has a little more experience. I think he has the better weapons. That run game for the Buccaneers, if they want to slow the game down with Bucky Irving and White, they can do it. But Evans knows he doesn't have very many games left in him. So I think that he's going to want to go out there and really put a stamp on this season. But give me the Buccaneers. I think they come out of this with a victory. Look, Commanders, awesome year. Awesome year. You can't do anything better. You have completely erased the last 8 to 10 years of trash football. I live up here in Northern Virginia, and everybody is extremely excited about this team and what they are moving forward. But they were ahead of schedule, and I can't see Daniels playing above Baker Mayfield in the playoffs, considering Baker knows how to kind of navigate these things. So Baker Mayfield playing out of his mind. Give me the Bucs in the upset. I think they go in there and beat the Commanders. No problem, because they're having a phenomenal season.
Hot take for Michael: all playoff matchups need to be moved indoors. I hate that so much. Part of the fun of the playoffs is the weather. It's when you get to see the snow games. I love watching snow games. It's just
Buffalo in the
it's just
snow,
fun
man. Come
football.
on.
It makes so much sense. Michael, I wish you were on.
Out of pocket.
We don't have the time to really address that because we're running up on kickoff now, and I don't want to run over on the show because this is going to be a phenomenal game we're watching tonight. We're going to preview that here in a couple minutes, but of the Rams, we don't know who they're going to be playing. It's going to be the Vikings or the Lions. I personally do not see them pulling off the win regardless of who they're playing. If it's Minnesota, if it's Detroit, I think they get it done. But Chris, who do you think's going to win? I know it's hypothetical right now, but can the Rams beat either one of those teams?
I think either way, the Rams are, like we were talking about before, kind of fell misfortune to the way that the seeding works. I really was never impressed with the Rams, even when they turned their season around, because games that they should have won. I mean, and even if they did win, they got they beat San Francisco 12-6. They beat the Cardinals 13-9. They lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Dolphins. They barely beat New England, and they barely beat the Jets. Their most impressive win is that Buffalo win, which it is a very impressive, high-scoring win. I've not been impressed by the Rams all year. Regards to who they play, I think Minnesota would be more likely, if I was just to say in hypothetical, that they have more likely chance to be Minnesota. But I think, especially if they play Detroit, I think it's going to be a comfortable loss, not a blowout. I never think there's going to be a blowout. The Rams just have not impressed me very much this year at all. They're not the least deserving as the Steelers are in and the Texans are in, but they're up there.
Andrew saying Michael's take wasn't a hot take. He's always out of pocket. I love that. You're not wrong, honestly. Fully agree with you there. Jason, can the Rams pull off what is going to be an upset in an incredibly challenging game, regardless of who they're facing?
Hey, look, this is the NFL, and crazier things have happened. Look, you got the Sean McVay effect. Matthew Stafford. They've got a banner hanging in their stadium. They won not that long ago, 2021, 4 years ago. So, I mean, the McVay effect is still there. I think they have a puncher's chance versus whether it's the Lions or the Vikings, because you're going to have to score 30 to 40 points to beat either one of those teams. And they've already proven that they can score those. So if Stafford is healthy, if their wide receivers, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, can get healthy, and if they got some other guys that can kind of get going here, they have a pretty solid running game there in LA. So I think the Rams have a chance to upset some guys. Look, struggling. Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold. I was about to call him Sam Bradford. Good Lord. Sam Darnold has never been here before. This is uncharted territory for him. He's never won this many NFL football games before. So is he proven in the playoffs? No. I think we're going to see a lot tonight with tonight's game on if he can handle that kind of pressure. But if he has to go to LA and try to win a football game in the playoffs against a seasoned coach and a seasoned quarterback and Matthew Stafford, I think that's going to be tough for him. That's an uphill battle because this is the NFL and crazier things have happened. So I don't think the Rams will, but you never know. I think they have a shot, especially if they play Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't think the Rams get it done against either team. Yes, they are a way better football team now that they are healthy. They have all their weapons back. They could pull off an upset, but I think they're going to play Minnesota. I think Detroit does get it done tonight, but the Vikings are playing some good football, 14-2, super dangerous team. I love to see Sam Darnold playing good as well. But Chris, who's going to win the NFC? Can the Lions overcome the string of injuries that they've had to face, or do we see a team like Philadelphia come out of the NFC and rematch the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? I
was dreading this question. I was dreading this question all day. I thought about it when I first woke up. Not really. But still, I've been dreading this question. I am so on the cusp because the Eagles have the pieces. The Eagles have what it needs, but the Lions have, I'm talking Tigers, geez. The Lions have the grit, as the famous Dan Campbell grit. And while this might, as a little preview to what we'll be discussing when we discuss the Sunday night game real quick, this might conflict it. I think Detroit has that grit to get to the Super Bowl. This is their year. And regardless of the injuries they've been dealing with, regardless of the fact that they are fighting for their seeding lives at the end, I think even if they lose tonight on Sunday Night Football, they can still make it in from the 5 seed. They can most definitely make it in with that extra game because Campbell's got it. Give me the Lions. I think Lions, Kansas City is a very, very likely Super Bowl. And gosh, that'll be a polarizing one, won't it?
That I would love to see that. I'm gonna take Detroit too. I think they're gonna overcome it. I've been back and forth between them and Philadelphia. I do not want to pick the Eagles. I think we see that in the NFC Championship, but Detroit gets it done, and they're going to face the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Jason, who's coming out of the NFC?
I would love to see the Detroit Lions. I think a Lions-Bills. You talk about two NFL franchises, two cities that would literally kill somebody for a Super Bowl championship. To see one of those cities finally get one, I think would be phenomenal. I think you talk about storylines from all across the board to go back into 50 plus years of history on these teams. That would be an awesome, awesome storyline if Detroit can do it, if the Bills can do it. I like to see Detroit because they're a fun team to watch, man. And Dan Campbell, he is, again, I want to go play for him. He is a phenomenal head coach. He is a master motivator of men. It is unbelievable. But unfortunately, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to come out of this. Dan Campbell has shot himself in the foot with his 4th downs numerous times. And I am scared that history is going to repeat itself and it's going to happen again. I think he's going to get a little cocky. He's going to have a 4th down, and he's going to go for it, and then something stupid is going to happen, and it's going to cost him the game. He's going to own it because that's his thing. It's his shtick, man. He is the 4th down guy. He will go for just about anything and do some crazy stuff. But in the playoffs, man, you got to be careful, and you got to pick and choose when you do those kind of things. And it bit him last year, and it hurt. And I know he's hurt for it. But is he going to let it happen again? I think so. He's already done it a couple of times this year where it bit him before. And I just don't see the Eagles doing that kind of thing where it's going to jeopardize them winning or losing the game. So I'd love to see the Lions. I would love to see Lions Bills. But unfortunately, I think it is going to be Eagles Chiefs again to nauseate the masses again.
Yeah. Mike's torn Eagles, Lions versus Ravens or Bills. It's going to be interesting. I am super excited. I love the playoffs. I love football. It's my favorite sport by a mile. I'm really looking forward to it. Anti-Eagles Schneider. I mean, look, they're a really good football team. They have a serious chance to make the Super Bowl, but I don't want to pick them, so I'm not going to pick them. I'm back in Detroit. We are running long. Vikings Lions has kicked off. Chris, who's going to win tonight?
It's going to be close. I'm going to go quick here, and I'm going to go conflict what I said about my NFC Championship pick. I have been impressed by what the Vikings have done. They've won close games when they needed to. And I think the Lions, the grit does not work out tonight. The injuries would be too much. Give me those Vikings as Purple People Eaters tonight.
Jason, who's coming out with the win tonight?
I got Lions, but by a field goal. I think Bates is going to be hoisted on the shoulders of somebody at the end of this game. So give me the Lions by a field goal.
Mike's going Vikings 31-28. It is going to be a really good game. I'm inclined to pick the Vikings, honestly. It's tough. The injuries have been brutal for them. They're down some key players, but I think they'll still make the Super Bowl. They're gonna have an uphill battle having to travel to LA for the first round, but they'll still get it done. Like we've all said, they got that grit. I want to say Dan Campbell will be smarter with his 4th down calls, but I'm not too sure. I'm inclined to say no. Sean's saying Eagles Bills in the Super Bowl. He's picking his Eagles to win, but that's entirely likely. I mean, like I just said, the Eagles, great football team. Saquon Barkley having a phenomenal year. They have some great weapons at receiver, super dangerous team. Sean's also picking the Vikings to win it. But that's going to do it for the final regular season episode of the Gridiron Address. But we will be back with some playoff content and off-season stuff. I'm going to have some guys come on, we're going to recap their favorite team's season. Like Jason, I'll have you on. We're going to talk some Giants for like half an hour. It's going to be painful, but we're going to do it. Same with Chris and same with everybody else that I've had on throughout the season. It's going to be fun. We're going to look ahead at draft prospects, all that kind of stuff. Super exciting off-season content coming your way, but that'll do it for tonight. Thank you all for watching, and let's go watch a great